taking the weekend and over the week just riding around looking. And there's something happening. I'm not exactly sure about what it is. I'm not exactly sure why it is. But there has been a proliferation of homeless people, roofless neighbors in our streets, in our squares, throughout our community. It's a different breed, some becoming beyond nuisance, but sometimes aggressive. And this is a phenomenon that I understand is happening throughout the country. The city of Savannah understands, I believe, that we have a role to play in this, certainly a role to understand it, and certainly a role to work with our partners at all levels of government to do something about it. We recognize, I think, that people fall onto hard times and they fall onto hard circumstances. But be it for the grace of God, myself or any of you could be in that situation. But we're watching patterns that are not familiar to Savannah. And so for us, we have to ensure the safety of our public. We have to ensure that our roofless neighbors are safe. But more importantly, that the hospitality that we extend to visitors from around the world, that we are doing the same as it relates to our roofless folks. We have to make sure that we're doing all that we can to be able to help. Again, I don't believe that the city of Savannah is the only partner engaged in this work. There are a lot of agencies that receive money. There are a lot of groups whose aim is to address homelessness. And so you'll see in the coming weeks, as we continue to work with our homeless serving partners, opportunities to really be able to understand what's going on and more importantly, how we deal with it. We understand that this is exacerbated by COVID. It certainly has made it much difficult, particularly if you're talking about issues of law enforcement and behavior that traditionally might put someone in the jail. That that's just not happening. It's just not for misdemeanor offenses. And we want to make sure again that we're being humane to people and getting them the services they need. And how do we do that? How do we connect them to where it is they need to be? If there are various statuses, how do we address that? And so that's what's been really at the top of my mind as of late, and really kind of seeing how we can kind of bring people around the table to have a comprehensive approach as we deal with homelessness. Again, this is a community-wide problem, and areas that have never seen homelessness before, they're beginning to see it now. And so hence is a great opportunity to rally around the point of making sure that we are attending to the needs of those who don't have roofs over their heads. So that's all for now about that, but I expect to meet with our homeless serving partners soon to better understand what's going on, and more importantly, what we can do on the city, and if we add to the county, to the state, to the federal level, to help provide some relief and support. Chief Mentor is here today, and we do have some updates regarding some of the weekend incidents, so after I'm finished, he'll provide those updates. Our COVID-19 metrics have continued to improve across the board, but admittedly, it's still high. Our community transmission index, one of our key indicators, is now down to 699. And so although we're happy about that, the reality is it's still 7 times higher than what will be required generally to drop a mask mandate. Likewise, our 7-day rolling average of new cases have dropped to 103.6, and our hospitalizations remain on a slow decline. These numbers are still too high, and so we're not going to relax prevention measures as of yet. Our mask mandate remains in place, and we're still strongly encouraging everyone to continue to wear your mask. We've heard from our medical advisory team last week. We'll continue to talk with them, and we'll continue to monitor the situation daily. And although, yes, our mask mandate only requires mask wearing in city-owned buildings, we're asking all Savannahans to make sure that we are doing what we can to get past this. It appears that there is some type of end in sight as vaccinations and herd immunity and all of these things have seemed to start working in sync, but we have to make sure people don't get infected. And so while you're out in public, we're asking people to continue to wear masks, particularly if you're unvaccinated, and utilize every other precaution that you can, washing your hands, wearing your mask, watching your distance, as we have done before. Last Thursday was a productive meeting by your Savannah City Council. During the work session, we discussed the proposed changes to St. Patrick's Day observances, and these proposals include the expanded to-go zone and changes to the right-of-way permitting activities. Again, this was an opportunity to work with partners to reimagine St. Patrick's Day, but more importantly, it's an opportunity for local businesses to finally realize their share of the pie from St. Patrick's Day. There are people coming in our community, and we think it's just right that we treat Savannah businesses, Savannah small businesses, first, and we treat them with the favor that they certainly should curry from their city. They're here all year long, not just on St. Patrick's Day. Everyone has had a very difficult time, and so this is intentional to create opportunities for our local businesses to be able to win as it relates to St. Patrick's Day. So I'm hoping that people are thinking about how to take advantage of that. We're only, a month and 2 days away. City staff is preparing recommendations for an ordinance for City Council to consider at our next meeting. Once we officially approve the plan, then we'll get busy in terms of educating people and getting messages out to the community and for those that are coming here, so that they know well in advance what to expect once they arrive. And then, of course, we purchased new dump trucks and to help support our back to basics sanitation services. We purchased additional shot clocks for the in-market arena, and we approved a 64-lot subdivision in the New Hampstead area, which is a growing community in the 5th District. As a reminder, we're still in Black History Month, and the City of Savannah's marketing and communications team, with information from the city's digital archives, is featuring special stories all month in our Black History in Savannah series. And so remember, videos are posting every Tuesday and Thursday at the Savannah, City of Savannah's TikTok page. That's at City of Savannah, And if you don't have TikTok, get TikTok and follow at City of Savannah. And if you don't use TikTok, the same videos will post an hour later to the city's other social media channels. And so we look forward as being the beloved and inclusive community that we are and are striving to be, to celebrate the heritage of our community and all of our communities within our community throughout the year. And so next month, as you know, March is Women's History Month, and so we'll look forward to that. We will host the Infrastructure Development Job Fair, Infrastructure Development and Sanitation Job Fair on February 23rd from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Floyd Adams Jr. City Services Complex located at 20 Interchange Court. And there are a variety of opportunities that are available. Many require no prior experience, and the city will provide the needed training. And so we're excited about that, but particularly people who are justice impacted, justice involved, people who have criminal records. You know, there are opportunities here at the City of Savannah, and I'm actively recruiting those that have a past that involve a criminal record to come and apply. If you're willing to work and willing to give your all, then Team Savannah could be the home for you. Also big this week is the Eagles concert. The legendary Eagles will start their world tour in Savannah. So obviously we're very excited about that. But this is really the first big test of our arena, of our parking, of our capacity, and of our plans. So if you're going to attend the Eagles concert, make your transportation plans now. And I will tell you, don't drive. If you don't have to drive, don't drive. This event is our first full capacity, sold out show, and we anticipate every parking area near the arena to sell out if it has not already. Likewise, if you live in the surrounding areas, and we know we'll put out information about the times to expect heavy traffic to park and people leaving, so we'll make sure you have that as well. If you plan to choose to purchase parking, do so as soon as possible. And again, pay attention to the close driving route that you are provided. The best and most convenient transportation option for the Eagles concert will be the free shuttles. And we're asking people to take advantage of the free shuttles from near the Savannah Civic Center. It's just a very quick ride. And there will be a pre-party show for shuttle riders as they await their ride from the Civic Center. So you can start your evening off early. So for more and full transportation information, contact Visit Savannah, visit inmarkarena.com. Visit inmarkarena.com. And finally, as we've been saying, our City of Savannah's Economic Development Team offers a variety of online options for budding entrepreneurs, established businesses, and all of those in between. And so if you want to learn more about that, each month visit our digital calendar at savannahga.gov/calendar, savannahga.gov/calendar. So that ends my prepared remarks. I'll take questions you have for me, and then we'll have Chief come up and give his updates.
Good morning, Mayor Johnson. How are you doing today?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Can't complain. So just to start with what was on the top of your mind, again, homelessness. I know you said you're kind of just in the preliminary stages of kind of what can be done. But what exactly can be done, really? Is it opening up more shelters, just finding more space for these? Because I feel like it's a tough problem, really, because it's not illegal to be homeless. So it's tough.
It's not. And we're not going to criminalize being homeless. And so there are people who have contacted us, do something about them. You know, lock them up. And we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. That's not Savannah. That's not our narrative. And we're not going to do that because it's not illegal to be homeless. It's not illegal to be in public space. You know, public space belongs to everybody. Now, to that end, I think from a social services background, each individual has a different story, and each of them have different needs. And so we have to address that individually. And so that involves being in the ground. And I know that our homeless servant community has a really good feel of people who are generally homeless here all the time. But again, there's just been an influx of people we don't know. We don't know them. They've been progressively more aggressive, and of course we're not going to tolerate aggressive behavior towards anybody. But you know, we're not going to handle this from a criminal justice standpoint. I mean, it's just not. If someone is doing something illegal, we'll address it like that. But there are behavioral issues, there are social issues, there might be financial issues, there might be mental issues, and so I think that we have to be wise enough to address every single case individually. And so, again, the City of Savannah is a partner in this. We're not the be-all, end-all, and I don't think we're going to accept sole responsibility for that, but I think we will collaborate with others to make sure that we have it planned, and that we're executing that plan, and that everybody is hands on deck with the plan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good. I wanted to go back to the homeless issue, and you used a phrase in your opening statement about aggressive homeless people. Can you clarify that? What do you mean when you're referring to aggressive homeless people?
Aggressive, well, there's a difference between, in my mind, between aggressive panhandling and passive panhandling. Sometimes you walk by people and they're there and they have a sign, you go, give if you want and keep on going. The other variety is people who are being a nuisance. They are approaching you, and that's a whole different thing. I think there's a very clear delineation between being passive and being aggressive. Again, we're not going to criminalize people being in public spaces, but if you're being a nuisance to people, that's something different. And then, there's also the other side of, and we tried to deal with some of this, the legalities of people darting out into traffic. It's a whole nother type of issue. It's a danger for the person, it's a danger for the drivers. Then there's the litter that's generated at certain intersections. So again, multifaceted issue that people are facing all around the country. I choose here in Savannah not to just say there's nothing we can do about it. I think we have to identify the cause, identify the patterns I've seen throughout the years. People seasonally, they kind of come through Savannah going to somewhere else. They're here for a couple of days and they keep it moving. But this is different. It's something markedly different. I think everybody can see it. It's something that has changed. And so I think we have to understand it. We have to be able to address it and address the behaviors in the humane way that Savannah aspires to be.
And to kind of follow up on that, I think, and again, you said you're not going to criminalize it, but the panhandling that's going, if you have noticed, it seems to me that since the pandemic, that every stop sign, every stoplight that you're at, there's someone there holding up signs or panhandling or things like that. What is the concern level of that?
Again, I think, it's a variety of things. Again, the safety of the panhandler, the safety of the driver. Again, there are people that are homeless that I know, quite familiar with. They are where they are. You see them. They speak. You speak back. They have their sign out. There's a difference between people approaching you and doing that in a way that's scary and terrifying. Certainly, anybody putting their hands on you. Again, we're going to insist on the safety of our citizens. Again, we're not going to criminalize homelessness. We'll criminalize the behavior. And I think it's a very clear situation about how we deal with that. Likewise, our law enforcement partners, in terms of helping them to be able to address it. Because again, some of the behaviors, although criminal, may not give the officer really few options in terms of how to address that issue. If the jail won't take them, then what do you do on that end? So again, I think it has to be a much more comprehensive approach about how we address that.
Just one question to retouch on that.
Yes, sir.
As far as loitering laws, would the city be interested in implementing any loitering laws to keep certain areas, less occupied?
Well, again, I think all of the areas in our city are important, and so I'm not necessarily in favor of creating a vacuum in one area and pushing people to another area. I don't think that's right. And again, I'm not going to be an advocate of criminalizing individuals who don't have roofs over their heads. We're very clear about what public space means, and that people have the right to be in public space, even if it's uncomfortable to some of our eyes. But again, we have to use humane, I think very thoughtful methods to be able to, again, address them as they are. They're people. And I don't see them as being a problem. I see them as being an opportunity. And so as a community, again, the city of Savannah being a partner, not the partner, creates an opportunity for us to look at people as opportunities to be of assistance. And again, everybody's different. Some are veterans, some do receive checks from various places. Some need medication. Some need someone to care. And so I think, again, we have to be wise enough to not use a one broom sweep all approach. That's just not the DNA of Savannah. And so as uncomfortable it is for some people to see it, hopefully that will help fuel the necessity of us as a community saying, let's do something about it. Not just, we just gonna get them out of here. It's just go, 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 go. No, we're not doing that. That's just not us.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So, I'll be expecting city manager and I will, we meet pretty regularly as an organization. There are people that we fund, obviously, but we'll be having some much more directed conversation. And again, I'm not going to allow the city of Savannah to take responsibility as being the only entity in this. There are some not in the game at all, and we're going to challenge them to become a part of it, to be involved. If that's personnel, if it's finances, then also I think obviously there are groups out there who are doing a wonderful job being their brother's keeper. And again, that has to be coordinated. We want to make sure that they are safe as well. And so Savannah is a beloved community. We will behave like a beloved community. Chief?
Good morning, folks. I want to give you an update on a couple of shooting incidents that we responded to last weekend. Both of these incidents occurred on Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. First one occurred about 5 p.m. We responded to the 0 block of Altman Drive, A-L-T-M-A-N Drive, on a shot spotter call. We got a report of about 6 rounds being fired at that location. When the officers responded there, they were advised that there was a victim who was already en route to the hospital. Officers then responded to the hospital and contacted a 16-year-old victim with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. The victim stated that she was in the area with her boyfriend and that there was some type of incident where they accidentally struck someone on a bike. The person on the bike was knocked down. According to them, when the person got up, the person then fired several rounds at their vehicle as it was leaving the area, striking the 16-year-old female. Like I said, she was treated at the hospital for non-life-threatening gunshot wounds. Second one occurred about 2 hours later, about 7 p.m. That one was in the 1100 block of East 54th Street. Once again, we responded on a shot spotter call, 2 alerts, one of 4 rounds, the other one of 3 rounds. Upon arrival, the officers found a victim who was identified as a 15-year-old male who was found outside the home suffering from a gunshot wound. Detectives determined that the victim did not live at the address where he was found outside of, but the residents inside the residence were familiar with the 15-year-old. 15-year-old was transported to Memorial Hospital where he is still listed in critical condition. Detectives are currently investigating both of these cases, and we're asking the public if they have any information regarding either one of these incidents to please contact us and provide us with that information. Any questions?
Chief, obviously these are a couple more incidents involving young people, teenagers. You said 116, 115. It seems like this is becoming, every other shooting or something, involves this. How, obviously all shootings are of a concern, but how concerning is it that so many of these are involving teenagers and so many young people?
It's very concerning. And just like you said, Dave, it's a concern anytime anybody gets shot or seriously injured in our city. But when we're seeing the impact that it's having on our young people in our community is very disturbing. Thank you.
And so we're asking our parents to continue to be hyper vigilant of knowing where your kids are at all times, knowing who their friends are, knowing the activities that they're engaged in, you know, and that will help us, obviously. So thank you all. Have a great week.